Welcome, everybody. We have the true pleasure in our double Emuna Tuesday class to have Rav Judah Klein. Judah Klein is in the house. Say hello on our Facebook Live. He's already saying hello, and Instagram Live's already gone. And amazing. Ben Epstein is here. Dr. Ben Epstein is hitting us up on the live feed, telling us how much he loves Judah Klein and the fact that he's with us today. And we appreciate his warmth and support, as well as all of yours. So special people out there, keep sharing the love. This is our 87th Emuna class. Hashem has set it up perfectly that Judah joined us today, and we were looking through pictures, and what did we come across? The king, Hamelech. Except Judah was dressed up, Purim, as the king. Wow. And that's the big Hamelech, as we know from Purim time.
It's also our 87th class, you said?
Yeah.
That's the numerical value of Paz. Paz. It's like a crown. The
Paz. King. And it's also gold as well.
Gold, right. It's a golden crown.
Like Baruch Shama, we say it's 87 words.
That's right.
We're purifying ourselves through Pazuka de Zimra, the prayer service, on the Shachrit service, and we're getting to that level of purity that prepares us perfectly for the Melech, the crowning of the king. This is the true royalty that we're going to discuss today on our double Emuna Tuesday classes, both with Judah Klein, our special guest, and our follow-up class, myself in my home. That will be going live around 3:30 Israel time. You can check it out on all our platforms. Thank God we have the audio going and everything else is functioning in our wonderful studio. We don't take it for granted, but you can thank the guy over there in the other room for building it with his bare hands. He's there, and he'll be hopefully joining many other people in Uman, if that's the blessing this year. For many, we'll get into that in the class. One of the other things we're going to discuss is how unbelievable this last year has been. We're getting to the climax of Tafshin Pei base, and hopefully now entering into Chai Elul and the 12 days leading up to Rosh Hashanah, we'll be in the right mindset to begin the new year, and Judah's going to help us with that. Hopefully, we also remind everyone we have all the wonderful books here. I'm be giving a whole bundle to Judah if he doesn't mind bearing that burden or that schut. Remember, we got Meeting with the King very appropriately, came out recently, perfect for this class, and I'll be going ahead with a new light today, as well as the concepts of Hamelech, and we'll be pushing out there the unbelievable, updated, official Emuna Tour 2022 with Rav Shalom Arush himself. We'll be touring the US. Unfortunately, we can't reach all the places we used to go to, like Miami, and in the past, even Mexico City and Texas and LA. All the people that have reached out, someone in Arizona just messaged me this morning. He will be in New York the time we're there. He's very excited by the divine flow that he'll be there, that Hashgacha Pratis, divine providence, that he'll be there that week that we're in New York. Other people are going to be coming special and going out their way to
also,
come. Yeah.
Speaking of double Emuna, you mentioned double Emuna. Today's a double Emuna
double Emuna
class.
Tuesday.
So it's the same thing with this Emuna tour. Is that you hire Arush, you have him come to your shul, and he's the light of Emuna in our generation. There's no doubt. He pumps you with Emuna, which gives you relaxation and yeshiva das. But also, if you're going to bring Rav Arush to your kehila, you also get to speak to Rav Eli. And Rav Eli is one of the sources of my Emuna also. I get to speak to Rav Eli every day. So that's also double Emuna.
He gets to see me at my lowest point.
It's a big schos.
Shacharis, Mimcha Marev.
Tein kavod.
Yeah, he has the honor to see my hanhagas in tefillah, which definitely need a lot of work on these days.
Emuna Tour.
But with all that humility, the bottom line is we appreciate the praise, and we're going to do the Emuna Tour. So thank you, Judah Klein, for sharing that. Remember, we will be in Brooklyn the 4th till the 7th, and be in Monsey from the 7th till the 14th. We have the honor of doing a huge event with Gedalia Fence in Carnegie Hall. That is actually being confirmed. The exact date still to be announced. And we're hoping to have special guests like Nissan Black. I'm trying to squeeze in Moshe Reuven. You never know. He's a new artist who just got on the H.com website and other places recently. And he'll be around. You'll see his name more and more. But we're trying to squeeze in a few music artists just to make it a more uplifting musical event, as well as obviously the Rav and Gedalia doing an amazing speaking opportunity. Plus there'll be other events to be announced with Chazak and other organizations that we work with in the past. The main focus of the tour is the Rav's well-being. As you know, he's not here in our classes, so that's because he's not 100% healthy, but he will be in person in New York, and that's why it's the opportune time to make meetings and meet with him, get blessings. This is like a different bechina than being here in the Holy Land, different aspect. That here he's like everyone wants to see him, but there it's much more secluded. We're in Monsey, we have our own space, and you can come and meet with him, and we have specific set aside times. It's much easier for direct contact with the Rav for all our English-speaking friends. That includes the Spanish, Espanol. We've had Spanish people fly in. We had from Guatemala flew in last time to meet with the Rav. We've had people from Mexico fly in. People from all over were so keen to come, and even though we had to sort of break our teeth translating Spanish, they were still so happy just to sit in the presence of the Rav. And it just shows you how there are people out there who just love the Rav so much, and we can all learn from that ahavas hachomim, the amunas hachomim, the love for a sage. So there is a bechina of a melech with the sages like Mordechai Tzaddik, and we learn that from our holy books. But we're going to go now into our feedback, and then we're going to hear from our guest Judah Klein, who he is, and a little bit of question and answer Q&A, as we always do on our Emuna class. Remember, this is 87, it's a big accomplishment, and he's helping us keep the engine moving as joining us from our neighborhood in Yerushalayim. Thank you. So thank you, Hashem. Yeah, one point we always do before we go ahead, we always give a big dedication to our guest. So a big blessing as well to Judah Klein and to his family, as well as a refuah shlema to Rav Shalom ben Yemna, to Hila Rivka bas Masha, Chana bas Vida, Chana Liba bas Simcha, anybody other names you can have in mind. We're dedicated this class for their refuah shlema, and also to the Elevation Soul. This Sunday is Gedalia Fenster's son, first yacht site, Yerachmiel Daniel ben Gedalia. We dedicate Daniel Yerachmiel ben Gedalia. I saw different orders of the name, but either way, we appreciate dedication to our Emuna class, to the Rav's teaching. Wish everyone a good week. Chai Elul, Chias, new energies coming down. Asiyim to Elul days, healthy, energized, tshuva-filled days, Emuna, and remember the tagline, sharing Emuna global. That is our purpose of the tour. As it says here, join us in the climax of sharing Emuna global together. As I said, this might be Rav Arush's last tour to the US, so make the most of it. Okay, great. Let's go into feedback. Thank you, Hashem. Shalom Rav, Toda Rabbah for sharing your excellent videos. Yes, that's what we do over here. Yes, the world would benefit so much from all us tuning in to the language of the soul. Thank you for spreading these ideas, Rabbi Goldsmith. Appreciate that. I don't really know. I'm a rabbi. I'm Eli Goldsmith, but thank you for the honor. Shalom Rav, Toda Rabbah for your video. Rav Klempner, vibrational healing. Worth sharing again. Yes, Joe Rogan and Russell Brand would be proud of this discussion. That's true. That was last week's class. We had Avi Abelo in the house, and he did an excellent job discussing some very important updates with what's been going on globally, as well as on all types of different everyday issues that people are going through, and it's worth checking out that class again. We haven't got the edited version, I apologize, but the YouTube, Facebook live version is up, as well as the Instagram and audio, which is pretty good quality, thank God. Shalom Rabbi for Sydney, Australia. You are awesome. Thank you, Rabbi. I love saying my Shema twice a day. We spoke about Shema last week in a new light, the prayer focus. It looks like you are in the sea. Yes, we had a funny background. This week it's just black and white. Shalom to your guest, Shalom Rabbi Goldsmith from Sydney. That was a mikveh. That was my kavana. It's great to thank Hashem. Elul's a mikveh. I love the backdrop with the blue sky with white clouds on the water. I hope Rabbi Arush gets better soon. Obviously, they'll miss him being here. Believing in Hashem is everything in my life. Someone else wrote, a guy called Matthew Ariel, relationship with the Creator through the all-important necessary mediator. So that was based on Rudy Rochman's clip when he came. That's gone around a lot. Baruch Hashem. Shalom Rabbi Rav Chochem. Shalom Arush. We love you. You're a true tzaddik. And we share the official flyer already of the Emuna Tour 2022. Emuna Rosh Hashanah video. Yes, that's coming up. That was last year's video. Nothing like saying Tikkun HaKlai. Someone wrote today on the video. And during his Bodidus, Rabbi Nachman in the path to know Hashem in a personal way, he was a great tzaddik. And Lee, his fire burns on. I'm adding that in myself, that last part. Our guests are such great energy. Let's go to our guests now. And the first question is at the bottom here, Uman Rosh Hashanah updates. So do you have any Uman Rosh Hashanah? That's the first question everyone wants to know.
Wow. I'm not so tapped into the news. Actually, the last Rosh Hashanah, I took a Kabbalah to be less involved in the news and to try and keep a clear head. The news, a friend of mine once told me, the news never reports when a plane lands. And the news loves to report on negativity and brokenness, something I'm trying to avoid as much as I possibly can.
Amazing.
So the only real update that I have is with myself, and I'll share a little bit of where I'm at with it, is that...
Well, can you give some context? Sorry, I should have asked you again.
Please.
Who are you, Judah Klein?
Oh.
And then we'll get to how you connect to Uman Rosh Hashanah.
It's just to simply put, I'm a friend of Rav Eli here. We both live together in Arzeh Bira. We're neighbors.
Don't give my address.
And
can all come.
I'm a Yid who grew up in Long Island, in New York, in the Five Towns. For those that know what that is, I spent time in the Halb school system, which is a non-Orthodox day school, and then there's a high school there.
Wow.
I went to Netiv Aryeh Yeshiva in the Old City, and spent time in YU, and then moved to Eretz Yisrael with my wife.
Now I know more about you.
With my wife and my daughter.
Amazing.
Now we had two more kids.
Amazing.
Now living in Eretz HaKodesh, I learned a little bit for a couple of years, and now I'm working with in the Kvura business, in the burial business.
Wow. Chesed Shel Emes.
Chesed Shel Emes.
Wow,
Yeah.
true kindness.
Speaking of
Eternal
kavod,
kindness.
right?
Yeah.
Kavod Ames is a real thing. Today we're talking about, like you
Honoring
mentioned,
the king, yeah.
honoring
true
the
royalty.
king, and which is the whole idea of kavod in general. And Yiddishkeit and Judaism makes such a big deal about this idea of honor and kavod until Had Kedei Kach, right? It goes all the way until Meis, kavod Ames, right? There's a place for kavod in our lives until the end, which all stems from the true honor, which is the kavod HaMelech, right? Mizeh Melech HaKavod, Mizeh Melech HaKavod. We say on Rosh Hashanah, on the night of Rosh Hashanah, we say Mizeh Melech HaKavod. Right, we're talking about the Melech HaKavod.
Oh.
So with that small introduction, I'll answer the question. The Uman Rosh Hashanah update, which I already commented on the practical aspect of it. I'm not holding.
Yeah, we agree with that, by the way. We
Yeah.
don't share news, and it's not our purpose.
I'm not holding deep into deep politics of what's going on over there in the war. But a personal update of mine is. We both know, everyone knows, Rav Nachman said, it's oil ala kol. That's a reality. There's also a reality of having...
Which means it's above everything.
It's above everything. It's above everything.
To just translate for our English speaking.
It's the highest thing. There's also reality of having a home, of having a Jewish home. And I think the true desire of the tzaddik, of Rav Nachman himself, was to inculcate these things, to inculcate the ideas into your life, into your practical life, and for everyone to be on the same page. So personally, the only update I can truly give is we're still discussing things, still trying to figure things out.
Oh,
it's a constant journey.
I love that real answer.
To get to the Melech HaKavod.
I'm feeling the same thing. They were asking us at work, because they're already setting up the offices here. This is inside information that people will be traveling, so they're working out all the times and the payment, and with people sick leave or holiday leave or however they're going to work it out. And this is the mindset of where I'm working. But I feel the same way. I'm still in discussion, I've got friends phoning me up. You got to come. We're going to help you. We've got to be by Rabbeinu.
Right.
And then I've got my wife sitting next to me saying, I don't think so. I need you at home this year for whatever reason. And then I'm scared. It's dangerous there. And then I got a friend telling me it's more dangerous for me not to go. There's the back and forth different.
So just another update, just connected to what Ali is saying. Yeah. Is that in this particular topic and discussion of Uman in general, and then specifically this year, there's a lot of noise. It's a lot of noise, right? Wherever you go, if you consider yourself a Breslover Chassid or someone who's connected to Rav Nachman, wherever you go, be it a shiva, be it a wedding, be it a bar mitzvah, wherever you go, someone's going to hack you up about it, someone's going to bother you about it, and someone's going to ask you, what do you think, what does this guy think? There's so much noise. To address the noise, I want to just say a quick story, if I may. Yeah?
Sure. This is your spot.
Oh, so a quick story.
Yeah, full covered, full honor.
Great, a quick story. There's a Rav in Yerushalayim who's a Breslover Rav. And I was walking out of Shir once with him, and another person joined us, and he turned to the Rav he was walking out of Shir with. This person also considered himself a Breslover Chassid, and he said to the Rav, I want to tell you the truth. Hisbodedus is, I hate Hisbodedus, the person said. He said an honest word to the Rav. I hate Hisbodedus. He was struggling so much with Hisbodedus. So the Rav turned to him and said, okay, it's because you're making too big a deal out of it. You just sit in front of Hashem, say some Tehillim, say some Lekutei Tefillos. He said a few minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. You sit in front of Hashem and you speak to Hashem in your own words, or not your own words, say Tehillim, say Lekutei Tefillos. So the person responded, but in Breslov, Hisbodedus is a chok v'lo yaver, an hour of speaking your own language in front of Hashem, in your mama lashon, which means your own language in front of Hashem. It's a chok v'lo yaver in Breslov. And the Rav responded, he said to this person, there's no such thing as Breslov. I know we're sitting actually in Breslov.com. He was trying to bring out a point. He was saying there's no such thing as Breslov. There's a Rebbe. Right? In Breslov, we receive from the advice and from the knowledge and from the Emuna of the Rebbe. He said there's no such thing as Breslov. Meaning, he said there's no such thing as social pressures of the Breslov Hasidim of what a person is supposed to be doing. He said we have a Rebbe, and our Rebbe is just there to enliven us, just there to give us life and enlightenment and joy and an easy life. He's just there to give us an easy, enjoyable, happy life of serving Hashem. And if something that you misinterpreted from him is causing you pain, that means that's on you. That's not on anyone else, because you bought into the noise. So specifically with Uman Rosh Hashanah, there's so much noise. A person could get down, could get broken, could get confused, which could then in turn affect his personal life, can affect the people around him, his relationships he has with other people. That's the one thing, that's my update. The one thing we have to avoid is the noise. Our job is, we have a Rebbe. Wow. Okay? So you have a doubt about something, take it up with the Rebbe. You know, we know what he said on one hand, you have to go. We know what he said on the other hand, that you can never be ba'atzvus. A person has to deal with these things in their own way.
Yeah, amazing. I really appreciate that Emuna Uman Rosh Hashanah update. Very funny that the word Uman itself is very close to Emuna, and this is an Emuna class, double Emuna class. So you have double the energy, double the fire of Rabbi Nachman ben Feiga, Rabbi Nachman ben Simchas, Chusar in Aleinu, Al Kol Yisrael, Amen. Mizochem Es Hashem, to go in the ways of the Siddiqim, Emes Siddiqim. Like we said, there's a connection between Purim and Rosh Hashanah. We have the awe, the light of the Siddiqim in this time, and Elul as well. There's a lot of talk about that, certain parallels between these 6 months leading up to Rosh Chodesh Elul and the 6 months leading up to Rosh Chodesh Adar. There is a connection. They're both the 6 months of their time period, and they have very special light of the King, HaMelech, in both those times. So Melech Basodeh, HaMelech in the Megillah. As you could learn all the different comparisons I had, Baruch Hashem. Well, you can check out those classes online from other Siddiqim. We talk about that. An interesting question came up. The third question: Slichot, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot. What is the best focus we can have? And I just want to ask as well, just so you're transparent. Do you have a Bres Mashpeh as well that we can all learn from? That you learn from someone who you don't mind sharing publicly?
Sure.
That helps you with this.
Yeah. First of all, the Rav himself is one of my mashpiyim.
Shalom Arush.
Rav Shalom Arush is one of my mashpiyim. Less in a textual way, less in an academic way of learning the books and reading the Sfarim. Less in that way, more in the way of just how he carries himself. Has an unbelievable hashpah on me. What it means to have a mashpiyah is. Mashpiyah means that there's a vessel that receives. There's a Kabbalah from that, and there's lots of different ways to receive. So he's one of my mashpiyim for sure. Just the way that he carries himself constantly with a smile, constantly.
He always says Eli smile, and that's my main taina that my Rebbe also, the Talmud Rebbe has of me. Simcha and happiness.
That's right.
Smiling.
That's right. Constantly working in simcha, and not just smiling, but turning the smile into laughter and laughing, which is the active smile. He's for sure one of my mashpiyim. And on the textual level, on the academic level, on the Torah level, there's a Rav named Nissen David Kivak, who gives a shiur once a week in Likutei Moharan, which is the ultimate goal as I identify as a Breslover Chassid, is to understand Likutei Moharan, to live the lessons and the advice in Likutei Moharan. He's the one who teaches me that sefer.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And is there any other mashpiyim worth noting before we get to the answer of this Slichot Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur Sukkot question?
There is the true way of Rav Nachman and Breslov is that, like it says in Torah Lamed Daled, is that every Breslover Chassid is your mashpia, and furthermore, Rav Nachman he deeply penetrates inside this idea that a person has their derech avoda. A person has to have their personal, intimate relationship with the Creator of the world. And once he's koveh you in that way, he sets you so deeply in that way, in that sense, everyone becomes your mashpia. You know, especially a person who understands the advice of the tzaddikim, of the true tzaddikim, they also become your mashpia. Right? And then every Jew, like he says in Torah Lamed Daled, has a special nekuda that no other Jew in the entire world has. They also become your mashpia. A person who has, like we're talking about today, rebelli, we're talking about honor and kavod. So when a person has, he lessens his own honor, and he turns to the honor of Melech Malchei Hamlachim, the king of the entire world. Right? He starts to understand how there are people that are sent to him, bashkacha pratis, a divine intervention from the 6 days of creation and prior, that this person was sent to me to teach me a lesson, to be mashpia on me. And this is a person who walks around as a makabel, someone who receives a nekuda from every person, right? Let's say a person comes to your door asking for tzedakah, as an example, right? So you think, I'm a great mashpia, I'm giving him tzedakah, I'm a big mashpia, I'm giving him tzedakah, he's receiving my tzedakah. But Chazal say that more than a person helps an ani helps a person. Why? A person who's truly shafel in their own eyes, who's healthily and comfortably low in their own eyes, not in a sad way, in a way of simcha, where you know that I don't have to become anything or be anyone. My one job is to have emuna, to be close to Hashem. A person who has that level of shiflut, of shiflus, and lowliness in their own eyes, in a healthy way, knows that the ani is coming to teach me a lesson of Kabbalah. Ana is coming to teach me a lesson that I'm just here to receive from Hashem. Who do I think I am? This big kanaker over here, this big person over here. No, an ani is coming to my door, yes, to receive tzedakah, and that's a mitzvah zaseh d'oraisa, and an eternal. Every shekel you give is an eternal mitzvah. Something that we're going to enjoy l'ol me'ad, forever and ever. But the true reason Hashem brought this person to your door, to teach you, we're just in the world to be makabel. So that's the answer to Rebelli's question. Who's your best of mashpia? Yes, I do have a practical answer, but...
Well, it seems to also answer the Slichot Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur Sukkot question, because the right mindset is probably the key, isn't it?
100%. 100%.
Like, by having that kind of mindset that you mentioned of shiftless and humility, but true, healthy one, and to also have connection to those who, and also understand how we're receiving. The idea of Slichot Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur Sukkot is receiving a new year, and it's preparing us to receive the new year. Hashem's giving us. It's not a scary thing. It's a relationship, and it's filled with kindness and love, and bountifulness.
100%. I love that.
So in terms of Slichot, I find Slichot very difficult. I appreciate that. Thank you too. I'm going to Rav Shalom Arush's Kila this Shabbos, and I might even stay Motzi Shabbos instead of being by my Rebbe in Yerushalayim. It's a bit more of a Yeridik avoda. I might need a bit more simcha and guitar and song, even though there is simcha there, but it's a different kind. It's more Yera simcha. A bit more simcha of guitar and kol. So I might stay by Rav Shlomo for Motzi Shabbat.
I might see you there.
Oh, you might join? Yeah. I'm thinking about it. So the question is, how do we sweeten Slichot other than just playing the guitar?
It's a great question. It's an honest word that you said, that Slichos is hard. Yeah. I agree. It's obviously I appreciate it. I'm sure everyone appreciates the honest word. The answer of how to sweeten Slichot and Slichos, that not just with a guitar, I'll say like this. You have something to say?
I just told one of the studio guys to turn off the internet.
Okay.
It's happened before when he leaves.
So just, should I go get him?
No.
We're good? We're good?
It will be all right.
Okay.
We're davening that he won't.
Okay. So the answer to that question, how to sweeten the Slichot without the guitar, specifically, is I'll say a story, and I'll expand on it a little bit. is that when it comes to slichos, and when it comes to really anything and any davening to Hashem, but let's hone in on slichos. There's a starting point, right? There's a starting point to it, and we start with Ashrei. Every slichos starts with Ashrei.
Yeah.
Every slichos starts with Ashrei. So the story from the Ribnitzer Rebbe. It was a big tzaddik. It was also a makabel from everyone, right? He was a makabel. He was a tzaddik. He was mashpia, but he was also a makabel from everyone. And there was a story that he used to daven at these crazy times. He didn't go by the regular zmanim, and he used to look for these minyanim, these different people who were able to join his tzibur, his minyan of 10 that he needed. And he went and told the Gabbai, I need you to find 2 people who didn't yet daven slichos. So the Gabbai was going around, and he went to this minyan that was just starting slichos. They only finished Ashrei. And these 2 kids who were in this minyan, they said, oh, what an opportunity. Let's go daven with the Ribnitzer slichos. You know, it's a show. He used to cry and to be marich in slichos. And when he used to watch it, it was like you got such a feeling. So they said, let's go. It's a big opportunity. You know, like you said, a little bit more yurdik. Once they wanted to go. So after Ashrei, they joined the Gabbai. They went to the Ribnitzer, and the Ribnitzer, who had the level of he had a spiritual vision. He was able to see deeper than reality, and what was on the surface. He turned to the Gabbai and he said, "I told you to bring me 2 people who didn't daven slichos yet."
Wow.
And the kids told the Gabbai, there was like going through the Gabbai. The kids said, "We didn't daven yet. We just said Ashrei." So the Gabbai said to the Ribnitzer, "They didn't say slichos. They just said Ashrei." So he said, "Gedavened," meaning they said slichos already.
Wow.
So there's 2 levels of slichos and there's 2 levels of living. There's living, or Rav Nosson Breslover calls lefi kedushas Yisrael, where the bar is as high as can possibly be. The bar is not your Rosh Hashiva, the bar is not your Mashpia or your Admar or your Rebbe. The bar is perfect, legamre, perfection, the highest bar, where there's no chet, and we're not shaykh to chet, and a Jew has no relationship to distance or no relationship to failure. That's the highest bar. We come from under the Kisei HaKavod. We come from under the divine chariot of Hashem. Our neshama is, our soul is perfect, and that's our highest bar. But Hashem created the world. He sent our soul into the world for a specific purpose.
Wow.
He sent our soul into the world to be here and to really reveal what does it mean, a Jew? What does it mean to be a Jew and not someone else? And in that way, our bar is the lowest possible bar. Once our soul came into a physical body, our bar became Shalom Asani Goy. That's our bar. That's our true bar in the morning. We start off our day with the bar, Shalom Asani Goy. So the same thing is true with Slichos. Do we want to start with awakening ourselves and davening with our heart and passion, and davening with, like Rebelli said, with yira and fear of God and fear of sin, and trying to ask Hashem for a brokenness, and for asking for forgiveness? We do. That is true. We want to bring ourselves closer to that original bar of Lefi Kedushas Yisrael, of what it means to be a Jew, and the root of what it means to be a Jew. That we're not at all connected to Chet, and every Chet that we do have is so broken and so heavy and so hard to bear. We do want that for sure, but we need to start with the bar where we're at, which is, if you said Ashrei, you said Slichos. You are Yoitze Slichos, and it's.
Can you explain it like in English? What does it mean? Like Ashrei is like, we say every day, 3 times a day, and it means fortunate are those who dwell in the house of Hashem.
Ashrei Yoshvei Veisecha. You come to sit in the house of Hashem to say Slichos. Ashrei Yoshvei Veisecha. Praiseworthy is the one who sits in the house
just in that essence
of God. Yeah. You are now good. Hashem forgives you. Slichot means forgiveness, right? And we're coming into this Slichot, and Rebelli said it's hard. It is hard. I agree. I'm not. I personally feel that way.
8 o'clock one.
Personally feel that way as well. And
our late morning one.
And there's the late,
or the Tom the Rebbe, they do 10:30 every night.
Oh yeah.
Bunch of Rebbe telling me they want to come.
Right, so there's the 10:30 one, it's the Young Israel and the Tolna also, and then there's the midnight one, which is the Eis Ratzon, the time of divine wanting, where Hashem reveals His desire for Klal Yisrael, and then there's the 4:30 in the morning one, which is where the light starts to come out and we start to feel light, and then there's like the 8 o'clock one for people like Rebelli and I. Oh, sorry, people like myself.
High five. You said the truth.
People like myself.
You didn't pretend.
But if we go in with this perspective of this double-edged sword of trying to live Lefi Kedushas Yisrael, according to the holiness of Yisrael, of who I really am in my root, and knowing that I can't fail, knowing that if I just come to sit in the house of God, be it 10:30 at night, 10:30 in the morning, I was zoiche to forgiveness. I merited Hashem's forgiveness, which means we're new, and which means when I stand in front of Him, He is happy to be with me. He is happy to see my face, and He wants me.
Wow. Okay, amazing. That's a great answer with the Mashpia intro and also the Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur Sukkot. We'll have to get to another time because just of time issue of being that, the class is under an hour, and even though I'm sure our guests could really go into each point and really help us, guide us forward with that. One of the points we want to ask is also going into the days ahead in such a way that affects, this is the next question, affects the next year of 5783 of Pei Gimel, Panasa Gedola or Pasum Gadol, or I know there's lots of Roshi Tevas. We want to make this new year amazing and awesome. So how do we bring the light of these special days that we're entering and already pretty much in now? We're in Elul and heading towards Chai Elul and etc. Chai Elul, the birthday of the Baal Shem and the Balatanya and his Galus of the Baal Shem, and these 12 days, each one has some sort of significance, as well as Kafei Elul, which isn't too far off, the beginning of Ma'aseh Bereshis. There's big lights coming down, and the question is, how do we bring it into our, like you said very nicely, into our everyday life as Rabbi Nachman? That is his kavana of his eitzes. It should influence our daily life and not just the abstract and the intellectual. I think we'll get into that. That will be our next question. Just want to remind everyone to check out all the links in the description and the Emuna Tour 2022. One of the questions asked, how do we make these meetings? I've actually had about 10 emails already about that. So just reach out to me. That's really the answer. eli.goldsmith@breslev.co.il. I will try with my utmost to email everybody back and organize all the meetings directly, as well as our team downstairs who will be phoning you, whoever they're connected with out there, that they've already got a large following that they talk to regularly. They'll phone you directly to coordinate those meetings. You can do it with them also, as well as you can WhatsApp and go to Emunalive.com to check out this class, other classes, and all the updates of the Emuna Tour with all the contact information. Everything's there. We just remind you again that Judah Klein is, once again, he's coming here to help us, as all our guests, to go on and continue this journey. It's about Emunah, and Emunah means a relationship with God, and that's something which we hope during these special days you won't forget. You won't forget. Not just the fact that Hashem wants you to pray to Him, Slicha and Rosh Hashanah, all the big prayer services, but also to talk to Hashem, to really sincerely talk to Him. That's a big part. We have a Kuti Maron here, so you should also learn his Torah. We're going to be giving this copy to Judah Klein as a gift. It's the Rav put out a 1,000,000 edition of this style of Kuti Maron, and we're giving one away. And they're still available, breslev.com, all the books for those who connect to the learning, as well as general Judaica and other things that people need for this holy time of year. Let's go into that question then. So how do not only what's coming up, but how do we bring it into our everyday life? So that would be really our main question for today.
Okay. Wow. This is like a general. This is the question.
Yeah.
Meaning, how do we live a good life, a life that we're happy with?
And the time we're in influence that.
Right. Okay. First of all, anyone who's constantly listening to these classes and gets spiritual sustenance from these classes, you just want to say you're so lucky you have Rebelli, and you're so lucky that he does this. It's such Mesiras Nefesh, and it's such a zikah, it's such a cleaning for Klal Yisrael, and Ashreinu, we're lucky to have Rebelli, and I'm lucky to have a friend like that, and this
all the Emuna team here as well.
And the whole team here is producing these things. such as chus. And also, I don't really have anything to add on to what he said. He said the answer already, right? Which is, we have the formal, lots and lots. We always have formal tefillos. We always have formal prayers 3 times a day, and we have our mea brachos, 100 brachos we make every day, right? We always have formal prayers, but now it's like bolate. It sticks out right now in this time period that we're in. These formal, very formal prayers, right? Like Yom Kippur, everyone's coming to synagogue, everyone's coming to shul on Yom Kippur, and the high holidays, right? This is like the world knows about these days. No one knows about Sukkot really, but everyone knows about the whole world knows about the high holidays. It's very, very formal tefillos. But Reb Eli said the truth, right? These formal tefillos are supposed to guide us in our personal tefillos and our personal prayers that we have with Hashem every day, and the way that the tzaddikim in their Sfarim, the way that they explain this journey from Slichos, Rosh Hashanah, the 10 days of Tshuva that culminate in Yom Kippur, that have 4 days in between Yom Kippur and Sukkot, and then Sukkot, which leads up to Hoshana Rabbah and Shmini Atzeres. It's really this one train, this one journey for a person to get to this Shmini Atzeres, this last day, the 8th day, Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah, where a person is in what's called, this intimate relationship with Hashem, this oneness with Hashem, and it's a whole journey that we have to take to get there. And this journey is a journey that we take in our. It's this large, extended journey with family and meals, lots of meals and lots of eating. Yeah, also a fast day, and lots of prayers that are very formal. But it's really supposed to guard our personal prayer, what's called disbodus, the way that we relate to Hashem in our day-to-day lives, in our personal way every single day, where a person starts off Rosh Hashanah. The beginning is Rosh Hashanah. For a person to, it's called the Yom Hadin, right? It's called the Yom Hadin. But there's also a minhag, there's also a custom that we have, which is to travel to tzaddikim for the Yom Hadin, to be connected to true tzaddikim on the Yom Hadin specifically. Because a person who's not, and a person who's not involved in that specific way of dealing with din and judgment, makes the judgment really, really hard. Really, really, really hard to bear, to the point of avoidance, to the point of I can't even begin to think about starting to speak to Hashem in my own words, because I know the beginning is judgment, because that's the nature of our relating to ourselves, is judgment. We're judgmental people, especially about ourselves, especially in times of quiet and times where we're actually setting aside time to speak to our Creator, to speak to the one who sees everything and the one who knows everything. We're going to start off negatively. We're going to start off judging ourselves. It's the nature of who we are, especially in this time of year, when that's the whole approach to these days of days of judgment, these Yomim Tovim. But that's why we go to the tzaddikim, because they're the ones who teach us, and this is a little bit of a deeper concept, if that's okay.
Yeah, please, doing good.
They're the ones who teach us that. Like the Gemara says, the Talmud says, "B'Tishrei nivra ha'olam." The world was created in the month of Tishrei. Now, what?
Rabbi Elazar
says, right. Yeah. So if you look at the Aleph Beis, right? If you look at the Aleph Beis, there's Aleph Beis and Gimel. But if you go backwards, it's Taf Shin Resh. It goes backwards. Taf Shin Resh. So the opinion that says B'Tishrei nivra ha'olam Taf Shin Resh means the world was created in a way of backwardness. That's how Hashem created the world, and that was his original intention in creating the world, which means that's his desire. That's how Hashem, who's kulo tov, Hashem who's entirely good, right? Which is hard for us to understand, but it's the reality. That's how Hashem created the world, in a way of backwardness, because he wanted us to be in the world and return to Hashem and get reward without having to eat the bread of shame. To return to Hashem without having received kindness my whole life and received blessing my entire life, even though I'm doing nothing and I'm being lazy and I'm involved in lowliness and I'm involved in sin lo aleinu, right?
Binging Netflix.
Right, and
or worse.
And Ki'ilu, we're going to go back to Hashem. He's going to say, oh, he's going to shake our hands. Good job. Hashem didn't want that. Hashem wants us to live in the world in a way we're us as physical beings that wear clothing and that have thoughts and feelings and families and difficulties and backwardness and disorder and craziness, where we are able to give nachas ruach and to give pleasure to the King of the world and to really, really know how special I am on a moment-to-moment basis. So Hashem created the world in a way where our job is to constantly take this disorder, B'tishrei Nivra Olam, this backwardness, to take this backwardness and connect it, and connect it back to Hashem's divine order, the ultimate order of Hashem. That's our one job. There's no such thing as a successful person. It's not true. It's a lie and it's a bluff. It's not true. Success means connecting to Hashem. Connecting to Hashem, the inner reality of connecting to Hashem means connecting to what He wants, which is to live within disorder, to live my life as it is, but to constantly, again and again, to reconnect it to Hashem. Am I going to fall? Of course I'm going to fall. Of course I'm going to fall into negative feelings of anger. It's natural. But Hashem wants us to renew our Emuna again. And renewing our Emuna means we're giving Hashem nachas ruach. Nachas ruach means pleasure. We're giving Hashem pleasure. He wants my service. I'm not just receiving and receiving and receiving and receiving. I'm going to forget truth like that. I'm going to live a lie like that. I'm not going to be able to actually fulfill who I truly am and to live in my purpose in the world. And that's how we start a relationship with Hashem. Yes, I relate to the fact that I'm going through stuff. I'm going through things that are tough. 100%. Some things are my fault. Some things are things that are really just happening to me that seem like they're out of my control. But I'm doing that with the light of the tzaddikim. The light of what Rav Arush brings down the light of the Baal Shem Tov, the light of the Zohar, the light of Torah, of Moshe Rabbeinu. That my job is to connect to the Ribono Shalom, the creator of the world, to take my big, crazy package of Tishrei Nivra Olam and to connect it back to Hashem. And when I enter into his bodilus, into my conversation, my personal conversation with Hashem like that I'm not nervous to talk anymore. Yes, I'm going through things, Hashem, but I'm here with you. Isn't this what you want? You want me to come to you with all of my stuff? You want me to come to you like a liar? Like a person who's bluffing all the time? Sure, yeah, my family, I have problems with my family. I feel alone, right? I'm feeling difficulties. I'm feeling tough, right? But Hashem, you did this. You want me to bring all of my stuff back to you. And when we start a spodus like that, it just opens up now. Right now there's space. I can breathe. I'm not in this constricted space anymore. Adarabba, meaning it's the opposite of that. I'm in this seemingly constricted space, but there's so much openness here. I'm talking to you, Hashem, who sees everything, who knows the divine order, the true order. Which is not my order. Everything that I want, that I think is order, that's a lie. It's not true. I want honor. Sof kol sof. In the end of the day, a person who's being honest with themselves, all they want is to be recognized. All they want is to be honored and respected. Each one according to their field. It's
royalty.
Royalty, right?
B'nai Menachem heim. We're all royalty.
We're all royalty, and we want that recognition from people.
Yeah.
We want that from people, right? V'al tiftchu b'bnei adam. Don't lean on people. Don't rely on people for that, though. That's our issue, right? Whatever field you're in the world of academia, so you want academic recognition. You're in the world of Torah. A person wants recognition as a scholar, as a budding scholar, a Torah scholar, person who's learning like the deep secrets of the world. He wants recognition as a mikubal. He already wants recognition as a mystical worker, as a person who can give blessings and help people. This is not our job in the world. Our job is to take our disorder. This is one job. So simple. Opens up the whole thing, to take our disorder, our backwardness, and to bring it back to Hashem, and for Him now to recognize me, for Him to see me and to be machshiv, to recognize me and to value my life. to value who I am. I'm going through things, Hashem. I'm going through things spiritually. I'm going through things physically. I'm going through things monetarily. I'm going through things familially. I'm going through things in every aspect of my life. But you're with me here. And by doing that alone, without even going further, just that thought of Emunah is already eternal reward. Right? That's not embarrassing. It's not welfare. It's eternal reward because I'm an Oved Hashem. Because I'm a servant of the Hashem, and I'm a Kabbal, I receive upon myself to work hard on Rosh Hashanah, not to get down, not to get broken up by things, but to constantly turn back to Hashem with my disorder and say, it is yours.
Oh, so we're going to end off with that wonderful message from Judah Klein. Maybe one last few words from him before we turn off the 87th class and get ready for class 88. As Gedalia always says, very wisely, face your stuff, don't stuff your face. But on Rosh Hashanah, we do allow ourselves a little bit of sweetness. So we're going to ask our holy friend for a little bit of sweet advice. We know he hesitated to mention, or for some reason hasn't come up, but he has a Heilige Shver. Is that right?
Yes.
Not everyone is blessed. I love my Shver. He's a Levi and he's a good Yid, but he's not Rav Moshe Weinberger.
Yeah.
And I owe thousands and thousands of hours to Rav Moshe Weinberger for his Torah, and every time he comes I tell him that. I've listened to almost every shir from the 90s in the tape cassette time period till now YU Torah.
Our generation is indebted. Yeah.
20 something years of Torah and limudim of Svarim I probably wouldn't have got to, like Rav Kook's Svarim and all the Sifrei Chasidus that he went through one by one with Sipurim. If you remember those shirim, the unbelievable shirim on Rav Sodek and it's just endless. Yeah, thousands of shirim. And now the current shirim of, the Yosef Asadik Chabura, so important, and the Oiris, the Tshuva, the whole Rav Kook focus, and then also he's recently been talking in Spodidus, very much important Chabura, as well as his general classes he gives to the Kehilas and all the different places he's flying out. And I'm sure you have a lot of private time and have the schus. So if you could end off our class, just a little insight in the merit of Rav Weinberger, Eish Kodesh, one of our friends who's actually did a class for Arosh. I think it was honestly thanks to you as well as a few other people who teamed up to help make it happen. And it was a special class before Lag BaOmer. And we'd love to see the Rav when we go to the US this time, but he will be in Italy. So we weren't zocher to time it that he'd be in New York when we're there. But we hope to see one or two of his Talmidim, like Charlie or Shalom Yanavai, so whoever's still around. If anyone wants to come who's going on that trip, they can come the Friday to Brooklyn. Will be available before that trip. So we're making a special few hours open for the Eish Kodesh crew, whoever wants to come by for your trip. Anyway, so if you have any words to end off our class, and just to remember, class 88, we don't know yet who it is. Rev Joey Rosenfeld is going to have to wait till after the Chagim. Judah Michelle, we're never given up, trying to get hold of. Maybe our friend here will help us. And the rest of these names here on my paper, I think we need more tefillahs to make it happen. Chaim O.G., Admari Stodmeyer. Haven't seen them around so much recently in Holy Land, but hopefully they'll be here. And yes, we wish everyone else success and a Shana Tov Matuka. Hopefully we'll have another double Emuna class if I'm not on my way to Uman next Tuesday. So that we'll leave that up to Rabbana Shalom, like our wise friend here said, it's a journey. So we're going to just play it by ear, like this class itself came together by ear, by Emuna, by flow, and not forcing anything. And once again, you guys have to share these classes, make it global. And thanks again. Let's end off with a few wise words from our guests, and that would be the climax to our class.
Wow. As you're specifically, you're saying from my father-in-law.
If you want,
okay.
if Rabbi Kivak said something more like on your mind right now,
okay.
It's your choice.
From one of the people who influenced myself. Okay, yeah. Both of the people influenced me. That Rebelli mentioned just now. My father-in-law, Rav Weinberger, and Rabbi Kivak, Shlita. It's gonna sound interesting, maybe, but I think just the one thing that I got from both of these people more than anything is just to be normal. I don't know what else to say. Just to be.
I told you that tone of vote. Zeicha normal lebracha.
Zeicha normal lebracha.
You should change the tzaddik to normal.
Just normal. These are two of the biggest people I know and two of the most normal people I know. I always tell people when they ask me about them, I said they're more normal than me and they're more normal than you. Which means they just, like Rebelli always says, they flow. They flow with Emuna. They're living their lives in a healthy, normal way with the Ribono Shel Olam in that constant makif, that constant surrounding light of Hashem is there, and they relate to that, and he's there always. But the way that they act and the way that they carry themselves is with the utmost normalcy and healthiness to all the people around them, to themselves, to parnasa and monetary matters and familial matters, and with in spiritual matters, to learn Torah and to daven b'tzibur, and to be a person with midas tovos who's kind to other people. Absolute normalcy, and that's really the only thing that I can add from them.
Okay, so since we're focusing on being normal, I think it's normal to give charity before Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, and Shmini Atzeres. The least I can do is give beautiful svarim from our Chutz Chesed, have a bunch to our guests as a chorus for giving time to us. We'd love to pay him, but that will have to be another time, please God. And also you guys, you can do charity, Emunalive.com. Partner with our Emuna Tour 2022 and all the wonderful institutes of Judah sitting here, and just been told before the class 7 huge institutes are part of this small empire of Rav Arush, the Chutz Chesed, and it's worth supporting. They're really doing amazing things. They're just expanding all the time because the Kehillah grows. And remember, most important of all, right now for me personally in these classes, Emuna Tour 2022. Partner, get involved, share the good news. Let people know who will get chizuk from meeting the Rav in person. Grab the opportunity. I can't say it enough. I had almost 70 classes sitting next to the Rav. I've had 3-4 tours with the Rav, sitting next to him on a plane. These are opportunities. These are golden moments to be with a righteous person and be in his Daled Amas and talk to him. And that's the final point of today's class, because then we learn how to be normal. We're not to be royalty. True royalty are the normal people. Can we say that?
Yeah, 100%.
True. The true royalty are the most normal. And I will give credit to our queen. Sorry, I know we didn't mention her yet, but my queen who passed away, Baruch Dynamis, it's not our friend's queen, they actually got rid of her. But back in the day when you got rid of the British Empire. But I still hold of her as a queen, figurehead, and she should be remembered for a blessing. And one of the things I respect so much was with all her royalty and fame and wealth and all the powerful influence she had, was her normal side as well. She had a lot of normal side to her, even though there was a certain the way the media likes to portray, like we said, the noise. But I saw through that, and some of the people I respect, like Rabbi Lord Sachs and other wonderful people I had connection to the Queen. My own uncle, who I just messaged this morning, he got knighted by the Queen. So in my own family, we got an OBE or CBE, one of those ones. And thank God, for all the kindness that my uncle did for the entertainment world and for Africa, Live Aid, Live Earth, big stuff back in the day. And that's a big part of my legacy, that the Queen was there to recognize that, like we said before, recognition. We're seeking that recognition, but it should be in the right way, in a healthy way, in a normal way. And the best way to do it is with the real King, the true King, Hashem. So long live the King, Yechi Melech. End of the class, HaMelech. Let's sing. Ashayinu, Matov Hakeinu, Anayim Goeleinu. Ashayinu, Matov Hakeinu, Anayim Goeleinu. La 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 la. Thank you.